It started with a single sentence, one Candace Owens never intended to say out loud. Yet, once it slipped from her mouth, the entire internet felt the ground shake beneath them. In a late-night live stream, her voice trembling with a mix of rage and disbelief. She whispered, "You have no idea what Erika did and why she's sabotaging everything." And in that moment, millions froze. Because if Candace was saying this publicly, something catastrophic was happening behind the scenes. Within minutes, screenshots flew across Twitter, Reddit, Telegram groups, even private donor circles that had stayed silent for weeks. Everyone kept asking the same breathless question. Why would Erika Kirk sabotage the investigation into Charlie's death? What was she hiding? And more importantly, who finally pushed Candace over the edge to expose her? But the real panic started when a private message allegedly sent by someone on the investigative team leaked. The message didn't just hint at sabotage. It accused Erika of deliberately derailing evidence, blocking interviews, and manipulating the timeline. Suddenly, this wasn't just drama. This was conspiracy-level chaos. The eerie part. Erika stayed silent. No statements, no denial, nothing. Almost like she knew something was coming. Something she couldn't stop. And when one of Charlie's closest friends posted, "Candace wasn't supposed to say it yet. Things are about to get really messy." That's when the internet lost its mind. Because if Candace Owens, usually meticulous, calculated, and careful, was ready to blow everything open, then whatever she discovered was dangerous enough to destroy reputations, careers, and potentially expose secrets that were never meant to surface. And what we're about to reveal next goes far beyond what anyone thought Erika Kirk was capable of from the outside. Candace Owens and Erika Kirk were never supposed to be enemies. In fact, for years, the public believed they belonged to the same ideological universe, similar circles, same donors, same conferences, same backstage lounges where powerful people whispered in hushed voices about policy, influence, and the next viral moment. But beneath the polished smiles and carefully crafted photo ops, there was always a tension, a silent electric current that everyone close to them felt, but never dared to acknowledge. People always said Candace and Erika were friendly. But insiders knew the truth. They tolerated each other because Charlie Kirk held everything together. Charlie was the bridge, the buffer, the peacemaker, the one who kept egos from colliding and ambitions from tearing alliances apart. With him gone, every unresolved frustration began to leak through the cracks. And the cracks weren't just emotional. They were political, financial, personal. In private conversations whispered by former Turning Point USA staff, Erika had long believed that Candace overshadowed her, that Candace had a louder voice, a bigger audience, a direct line to the public that Erika could never match. Meanwhile, Candace allegedly suspected that Erika used Charlie's status to elevate herself, to slip into rooms where she otherwise wouldn't have been invited. Jealousy, resentment, commentation. These were the true shadows lurking behind every staged photo. But no one realized how deep the rivalry went until Charlie's death. Because the moment it happened, the moment those first cryptic news alerts hit the internet, everything changed. People expected unity, grief, and solidarity. But what unfolded was the opposite Cold War between Erika and Candace. Each one pulled into a web of questions, secrets, and suspicious behavior that no one could ignore. Let's rewind to weeks before the public announcement of Charlie's death. Someone in TPUS's inner circle claimed that Candace received a private message, a message she never fully revealed. Even now, the sender allegedly warned her that things surrounding Charlie's final days weren't adding up, that someone close to him was acting off. Certain details needed to be double-checked before the media got involved. And according to rumors, Candace tried to confront Erika about it, but Erika refused the conversation. Some insiders swear the tension between them escalated so badly that multiple security staff had to step between them at an event in Washington. They weren't shouting, but the look in Candace's eyes. "I've never seen anything like that," one staffer told a blogger. She wasn't angry. She was terrified of something. Meanwhile, Erika allegedly began locking down her communication circle. Friends who once posted weekly photos with her suddenly stopped. People she'd been publicly close to for years went completely silent. A former assistant even posted a cryptic Instagram story with the words, "You don't know people until tragedy hits." But the moment the official investigation into Charlie's death launched, that's when the real strangeness began. According to leaked texts circulating through conservative Twitter spaces, someone from the investigative team reached out to Candace directly, something that almost never happens. One message allegedly read, "We're hitting unusual delays. Witnesses are backing out. Evidence is getting redirected." Someone is interfering who would interfere in an investigation involving one of the most influential political commentators in the country. No one had an answer. Not until now. Because the more you look into it, the more the timeline points to only one person. The one who stood the closest to Charlie. The one who controlled the narrative from day one. The one who had access to everything. Erika. And while people initially assumed her behavior was just grief, it's just shock, just confusion. The pattern was too precise, too strategic, too controlled. For example, she allegedly blocked one of Charlie's longtime friends from speaking to investigators. She supposedly demanded that certain documents be reviewed privately before being released, and multiple sources claim she held a meeting where she insisted that no one talked to press until further notice, even though she had already spoken to select journalists herself. It wasn't just odd. It was calculated in Candace. She was watching all of it unfold. Candace had always been someone who thrived on facts, evidence, and truth, especially when the public was watching, but in private. She allegedly became consumed by a fear that something sinister was happening behind the scenes, something she couldn't yet prove but couldn't ignore. People around her said she barely slept, that she paced during meetings, that she kept repeating the same sentence. Why is Erika doing this? But she didn't have an answer. Not yet. Everything changed when someone whose identity is still unknown sent Candace the message that would break the internet. A message rumored to contain photographs, time stamps, and a detailed account of an interaction Erika had just days before the investigation began. Something that didn't match her public statements. Something that contradicted everything she told law enforcement. Something that if exposed would flip the entire narrative upside down. And when Candace saw it, she went silent. Silent for days. Until her live stream. The live stream that shook every corner of social media. The live stream where she finally snapped and whispered, "You have no idea why she's sabotaging this investigation." And while her voice trembled, her eyes revealed something even scarier. Fear not of Erika, but of what she discovered. What she's preparing to reveal next is so explosive, so reputation-shattering that even her closest allies begged her not to release it yet. But Candace doesn't scare easily. And what you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about Erika. Charlie. Know what really happened behind closed doors? The major conflict didn't erupt publicly. It exploded in private long before the internet caught the scent. And according to multiple insiders who were present in those rooms, it all began the moment investigators approached Candace Owens with information they couldn't reconcile with Erika Kirk's early statements. Candace didn't understand it at first. Why certain details didn't match. Why timelines felt shaky. Why conversations supposedly happened at times that didn't exist. But when a quiet, nervous member of the investigative team whispered, "We're getting inconsistencies," and all of them traced back to Erika, everything inside Candace shifted. But the real eruption came 3 days later. It began with a conference call. One that was never meant to leak. 12 people on the call, 9 muted, 1 investigator speaking, and 2 women on opposite ends of a boiling storm. Candace and Erika. Multiple sources claim Erika entered the call emotional, defensive, and already agitated before investigators could even begin reviewing their findings. She allegedly jumped in saying, "This entire process is becoming invasive. We need to be careful. People are grieving. I don't want misinformation getting out." But investigators weren't talking about misinformation. They were talking about the missing hour, the hour that doesn't appear in any of Erika's statements. The hour she claims she doesn't remember clearly. The hour investigators initially dismissed as stress until evidence began pointing to something very different. Candace allegedly interrupted the call, her voice shaking but sharp. "Why is there an hour you can't account for? Why didn't you tell us about the phone call you had during that time?" The moment Candace said that, the entire call went silent. One investigator cleared their throat. Papers shuffled. Someone muted their mic. And Erika, who had been controlling the tone of the meeting until that point, reportedly snapped, "What phone call? What are you implying?" But investigators already had it. A time stamp, a call log, a voice message, a call Erika claimed never happened. Yet the phone record said otherwise. When investigators asked her again, more carefully this time, Erika allegedly insisted she didn't recall it. "I was overwhelmed," she said. "Grief does things. I don't remember every moment." But someone on that call later told a blogger she wasn't acting like someone who forgot. She was acting like someone who got caught. The tension became unbearable. Candace didn't speak again for the rest of the call, but she didn't have to. Her silence was louder than anything she could have said because she already knew the truth. The investigation wasn't being sabotaged by accident. it was being sabotaged by design. That became even more obvious when later that night, screenshots leaked from someone in Charlie's inner circle. Screenshots that showed Erika allegedly messaging people telling them to wait before speaking to investigators or don't talk until I organize everything. Some interpreted it as grief-driven control. Others saw it as something far darker. Then came the biggest inconsistency, yet one that completely changed the trajectory of the investigation. The infamous night before timeline due, Erika told investigators one story. Witnesses told another, and silent video footage told a third. According to leaks, Erika had said she stayed home that evening and had no significant interactions with anyone outside close family members, but leaked footage allegedly showed her at a private meeting earlier that same night. She never reported a meeting with a man who has now become the center of the entire art. Investigation, a man Candace allegedly recognized immediately when she saw the footage, a man she has never publicly named until now, but we'll get there. What made the footage even stranger was how the man behaved. He kept glancing around nervously as if terrified of being recorded. Meanwhile, Erika leaned forward, speaking fast, gesturing in ways that investigators found highly unusual for someone supposedly experiencing nothing out of the ordinary that week. Insiders claimed the footage appeared authentic, no cuts, no edits. Someone nearby recorded it either accidentally or intentionally. And when investigators confronted Erika with the existence of that video, she allegedly became furious, insisting that the footage was taken out of context. She refused to answer further questions. She demanded all communication go through a lawyer, and from that point forward, everything changed. Witnesses suddenly backed out of interviews. Evidence that investigators requested suddenly couldn't be found. Phone data from Erika's device came back corrupted, and a person familiar with the case said, "It felt like someone was cleaning up behind her." The exact moment this spiraled into full-out war was the night Candace received the anonymous Dropbox link. No subject line, no explanation, just one folder read before it's deleted. Inside were screenshots, call logs, location pings, and a set of text messages that investigators never saw, messages between Erika and the unknown man from the leaked footage. Messages that painted a completely different picture of what happened during those days. The messages were shocking. One read, "Don't say anything until I tell you." Another, "The story has to stay clean. Don't mention the argument." And the most disturbing one, "If the truth comes out, everything falls apart for all of us." Candace reportedly read the messages in total silence. Then she read them again. Then again. Some insiders say she locked herself in her home office for hours, pacing, shaking, terrified of what she was holding in her hands. She didn't know if the messages were real. She didn't know who leaked them. She didn't know why she was chosen. But one thing was clear. If those messages were authentic, then Erika wasn't just sabotaging the investigation, she was orchestrating it. And the moment Candace realized that, she immediately contacted investigators. But according to leaks, before she could even share what she received, someone from the investigative team reached out to her first, saying they had discovered direct interference in the case. Someone had attempted to delete evidence from their database. Someone had accessed restricted files. Someone had pressured two witnesses into modifying their statements. The description matched one person. The behavior matched one person. The motive matched one person. Erika, but the biggest question remained unanswered. Why would she sabotage the investigation into the death of her own husband? What was she trying to hide? Who was the mysterious man? And what was the argument mentioned in the leaked messages? Candace wanted answers. She demanded them. She deserved them. But the first major twist came from someone she never expected, an ex-TP USA employee, someone who worked closely with Charlie, someone who knew Erika personally. They contacted Candace directly with a single message. "You're not ready for the truth about Erika." She wasn't sabotaging the investigation because she was guilty. Candace froze reading the next line. She was sabotaging it because she was protecting someone else. Protecting who? Protecting why? And what connection did that person have to Charlie's final days? That's where the story explodes next. Because the person Erika was protecting is someone powerful, someone influential, someone with everything to lose if the truth comes out, someone Candace is about to name. The escalation didn't happen gradually. It hit like a digital earthquake, one that shook every corner of social media. Private donor chats, political telegram groups, and every conservative influencer ecosystem that pretended not to be watching. The second Candace Owens hinted that Erika was protecting someone else, the internet detonated. People began dissecting every old photo, zooming into every handshake, scrolling back through years of posts, looking for the ghost. Erika was allegedly covering for Candace wasn't ready to reveal the name publicly. Not yet. Not without understanding the full picture. The turning point came when a former TPUSA employee, someone who had been completely silent since Charlie's death, sent Candace a message so cryptic, so terrifying that Candace reportedly sat in her car for an hour before even responding. The message read, "You're looking in the wrong place. This isn't about Erika's guilt. It's about who she's shielding. And trust me, that person has the money, the influence, and the reach to erase anyone who gets too close." Candace replied immediately, "Who?" The response came seconds later. "Check the folder I sent you. Look closely at the meeting footage. You missed something." Candace opened the video again. The same leaked clip investigators mentioned. The one showing Erika meeting the unidentified man the night before. Everything unraveled. She had watched it 7 times already, but this time she paused it. At the exact moment, the whistleblower pointed out. The man wasn't just glancing around nervously. He was guarding something, a phone, not his, Erika's, and the screen was lit, bright, active, recording something or someone. Candace zoomed in, and when she saw the reflection on the man's glasses, her fingers went numb because it wasn't Erika he was talking to. It was someone standing behind her. Someone the camera angle didn't show. Someone who didn't want to be seen. A tall figure, broad shoulders, art suit, hand covering part of their face, someone who should not have been in that room. Candace immediately forwarded the screenshot to the whistleblower. They responded within seconds. "That's him, the person Erika's covering for." Candace typed, "Who is he?" And that's when the whistleblower dropped the bombshell. Charlie's political advisor. The one who disappeared the day the investigation started. The name was one Candace recognized instantly. A man with access to Charlie's schedule, private conversations, his encrypted messages. A man who was supposed to help TPUSA navigate upcoming election cycles. A man with major connections to donors, corporations, and media networks. A man with enough influence to pressure witnesses or erase evidence. His name wasn't new to the political scene, but his connection to Erika. Nobody knew about that until now. Candace didn't want to believe it. She didn't want to accept it. So she did what she always does. She looked for receipts. She started digging through the Dropbox folder again. This time she noticed a second subfolder labeled "For Your Eyes Only." Inside were screenshots of messages that shook her to her core. Shots of messages that shook her to her core. "I'll handle the questions. Just stick to the same story. Don't mention me. Erika, please. If this gets out, it's over for both of us." Candace's heart started pounding. The timestamps matched the missing hour. The messages matched the lies. The tone matched the panic in the leaked footage. And then a final message. "Tell them Charlie left angry. That's all they need to know." Candace slammed her laptop shut. Because that message didn't just imply the advisor knew what happened that night. It implied he was there, and the only reason Erika would protect him as if she was involved too. Not in the act. But in the cover-up, Candace didn't sleep that night. Every line she read replayed over and over. Why would Erika protect him? What did he know? What happened between him and Charlie? What was the argument referenced in the text? Why did he disappear right after investigators asked for interviews? And most importantly, what was the truth behind that missing hour? Candace needed confirmation. So, she reached out to one more insider, someone who used to work directly in Charlie's inner circle months before everything collapsed. This insider didn't answer immediately, but when they finally responded, their message was only 5 words. "Erika wasn't the only liar," Candace asked. "What do you mean?" No answer. Not for hours. Then finally there was a fight, a bad one, between Charlie and his advisor. Erika knows exactly what happened. She's been covering it up since day one. "Candace, what was the fight about?" The insider hesitated for almost 2 minutes before answering. Money. Money donors, a deal Charlie refused to be part of. Candace froze because suddenly everything made sense. The suspicious behavior, the inconsistencies, the sabotage, the desperation, the mysterious meetings, the missing hour, the advisor's disappearance. But as Candace pieced the puzzle together, something even more terrifying surfaced. This wasn't just personal drama. This wasn't just grief mixed with panic. This wasn't even about Erika's emotional state. This was about a deal powerful enough that if exposed, donors would withdraw, millions TOA would collapse, careers would end overnight, politicians connected to the advisor would face investigations, and Erika, who allegedly supported the advisor's plans, would lose everything. This wasn't sabotage for the sake of sabotage. This was sabotage for survival. But then came the part no one was prepared for. A brand new leak, a voice memo, a recording that wasn't supposed to exist, one that was allegedly taken inside Charlie and Erika's home. A recording where two voices can be heard arguing. Charlie's and the advisor's single quotes in the background. Someone else can be heard crying, indistinct, shaky, panicked. And then one line that made Candace stop breathing. If this gets out, Erika's done. You're done. Everyone's done, followed by Charlie shouting, I won't lie for you. The audio cuts suddenly as if someone grabbed the phone mid-recording. Candace reportedly listened to it 20 times. Each time, the same realization hit her harder. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a cover-up. A cover-up that Erika helped orchestrate. A cover-up that the advisor led. A cover-up that powerful people needed buried. But the twist wasn't the advisor. It wasn't the messages. It wasn't even the recording. The twist came when Candace checked the date on the voice memo. It wasn't recorded. The night Charlie died, it was recorded 3 weeks before, meaning the conflict didn't start the night. Everything spear-lead. It had been brewing for almost a month. Silent, hidden, controlled, and Charlie had been terrified for weeks. The final text in the folder, the one Candace overlooked at first, confirmed it. He knows too much. We need to move fast before someone talks. Someone. Who and why were they rushing? Candace nearly dropped her phone when she read the last line. Make sure Erika is with him that night. She listens to you. Candace felt her entire body go cold. Because that meant one thing. Erika wasn't just covering up for the advisor. She was following his instructions, and the missing hour. The inconsistencies, the panic, the sabotage, they weren't random mistakes. They were deliberate because Erika wasn't just protecting the advisor. Erika was protecting herself. And the real reason she sabotaged the investigation is something no one, not even Candace, was prepared to face. The moment Candace went live and whispered that chilling line. Erika wasn't sabotaging because she was guilty. She was sabotaging because she was protecting someone else. The internet imploded. And not slowly, not gradually. It felt like every device in America vibrated at the same moment as millions of users jumped online to figure out who Erika had been protecting, what went wrong, and why Candace's voice shook the way it did. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook boards, Reddit, subreddits, everything detonated. Within an hour. Hashtags were trending worldwide. Hashtag Erika cover-up, hashtag justice for Charlie, hashtag who is she protecting, hashtag Candace exposed it all. Even neutral political accounts, those safe family-friendly corporate-branded accounts, suddenly began sharing reaction clips dissecting Candace's facial expressions, zooming in on every blink, every tremor in her voice, every pause that sounded like she was holding back far more than she was allowed to say. Then the fan pages entered the battlefield. Thousands of conspiracy threads spun out of control. TikTok detectives began stitching together old pictures of Erika, her advisor, and Charlie, overlaying dramatic music, flashing red circles on screenshots, claiming they found proof of hidden relationships and silent power struggles. But the real explosion began when a political blogger leaked a blurred still frame from the secret meeting video thought one Candace had been analyzing for days. The image wasn't clear. The angle was awful, but it showed just enough of the advisor's silhouette to start a wildfire. Is this the man Erika was protecting? Why was she meeting him behind Charlie's back? Was he involved in the missing hour? Within minutes, the advisor's name trended online, even though no official source had confirmed anything. People began posting screenshots of him standing next to Charlie in old Tpuza photos, claiming they could feel tension in everyone. Fans went back through Erika's Instagram, analyzing captions for hidden meanings, digging through likes, comparing, finding inconsistencies in posts that were never questionable before. And then came the celebrity reactions. One conservative commentator posted, "If Candace says someone is lying, someone is definitely lying." Another tweeted, "I've been around Erika. She's not who people think she is. Candace isn't exaggerating." A former Tpuza student wrote, "There was always something off about Erika's energy. She controlled everything around Charlie." Meanwhile, Erika's supporters went into full defense mode. Influencers who had worked with her posted emotional video responses begging the public not to jump to conclusions, saying things like, "Erika is grieving. Stop attacking a widow." But those pleas only made the backlash worse. One top comment read, "Nobody sabotages an investigation by accident. Stop protecting her." The divide was brutal. Half the internet defended Erika. The other half demanded her arrest. Then political YouTubers joined in, creating hour-long breakdowns of Candace's live stream. Some of the biggest creators ran with titles like "Candace Owens just exposed Erika Kirk." Here's the full story. The advisor they don't want you to know about, the cover-up that could destroy Tpuza. Millions watched. Millions commented. Millions speculated. But the most chilling reaction came from a verified account that rarely tweets. Charlie's sister, she posted a single line. "Candace isn't lying." That tweet alone sent shock waves through the entire conservative world. People screenshotted it instantly, reposting it everywhere. Some claimed this confirmed Candace's claims. Others argued it meant Charlie's family had known more than they ever said publicly. And then herself finally broke her silence. Her statement wasn't a video, not a live stream, not an interview, not even a carefully crafted press release. It was a plain short paragraph posted to Instagram stories, white background, black text where she wrote, "This has gone too far. I am grieving my husband. I will not entertain lies, conspiracy theories, or attempts to destroy my character during the most painful time of my life." But she didn't deny the accusations. Not directly, not clearly, not convincingly. The comments were brutal. Why no denial? Why not address the advisor? Why avoid the missing hour? Why are you attacking Candace instead of clarifying? Where is the advisor now? And when people noticed that Erika turned off replies just minutes after posting, it made things even worse. Political news outlets smelled blood. Articles flooded the internet. Is a conservative civil war brewing? Candace Owens drops bombshell about Tapuza investigation. Leaked audio suggests hidden conflict in Charlie Kirk's final weeks. The pressure grew so intense that even mainstream networks began running segments, dissecting the drama. Painlease debated on air whether Erika was being unfairly attacked or whether Candace had uncovered a cover-up that could shake the foundation of conservative politics. Then the advisor himself made the situation even more suspicious. Instead of releasing a statement, suddenly went completely dark. His Instagram disappeared. His Twitter went private. His LinkedIn was wiped. And someone online claimed his house looked vacant. People began asking, why would an innocent person vanish the second his name was mentioned? Why did Erika defend herself but not him? Why is he hiding if this is all lies? Then someone leaked an email allegedly from inside TPUs where a staff member warned colleagues to avoid discussing recent developments publicly. That email ended with "This situation is more complicated than you know." The public took that as confirmation because at this point it wasn't just fans reacting. Not just influencers, not just commentators. Real donors began posting cryptic messages. Politicians close to Charlie became unusually quiet. People who once praised Erika began distancing themselves online. Something was wrong. Something big. And everyone felt it. But the moment that frightened the public most, the moment that made everyone realize Candace wasn't just hinting at drama, she was hinting at something catastrophic, came when Candace tweeted one chilling sentence. "The truth is darker than you think." No context, no explanation, no follow-up. Just a warning. A warning that whatever Candace was preparing to expose next wasn't just a scandal, wasn't just betrayal, wasn't just political. It was something that could destroy reputations and careers and shake every corner of the conservative world, because the real secret, the one Erika tried to bury, hasn't been revealed yet. The final twist didn't surface from a leak, a screenshot, or even one of the anonymous insiders who had been feeding information to Candace for weeks. It came from somewhere far more unexpected, an encrypted email sent directly to Candace's team, flagged as urgent from someone who identified themselves only as the one who saw everything. At first, Candace ignored it. She had already received thousands of messages, fake tips, wild conspiracies, threats telling her to stop talking, and strangers claiming they had exclusive information about Erika. But this email was different. It came with documents, audio, photos, metadata, timestamps, receipts, not the flimsy, easily fabricated images the internet often produces. These were raw files untouched from a device that clearly had permission to be in places no one else should have been allowed. Candace opened the first file and everything inside her froze. It wasn't about the advisor. It wasn't about the missing hour. It wasn't about the leaked messages. It was about Erika's motive. The one question nobody had been able to answer. The one hole in the entire story. The one piece of the puzzle that kept the truth from snapping into place. Why would Erika sabotage the investigation, even if she was protecting someone else? The email answered it. The real reason Erika sabotaged everything wasn't loyalty, wasn't fear, wasn't pressure, wasn't grief, it was leverage. One file in the email contained a screenshot from a financial transfer, an untraceable one sent to a private account under Erika's name. The date of the deposit 3 days before the advisor vanished. The amount enough to keep someone silent for years. But the email didn't stop there. There was also a video clip, blurry and dark, but with audio clear enough to identify one voice unmistakably. Erika's in the clip. She wasn't crying. She wasn't angry. She wasn't grieving. She was negotiating. Calm. Calculated, controlling. And the man she was negotiating with wasn't the advisor. It was someone higher. Someone above him. Someone both he and Erika answered to, someone who never appears publicly but controls everything from behind conference room doors. A donor. A billionaire. One of the most powerful figures connected to Tpuza, and someone who had a history of quietly suppressing scandals long before Charlie's death. In the clip he said, "Stay quiet. Keep this story clean. Don't let the investigation wander. If it does, everyone loses." But it was Erika's response that made Candace drop the phone. "I'll make sure the narrative holds. Just don't let them bring up what happened between them that night." Candace replayed it 12 times. She made her team listen. She sent it to the same investigators who had been contacting her privately for days. And one of them finally wrote back, "We've been warned not to pursue this angle." Warned? By whom? Candace's stomach turned. Because now it wasn't just a cover-up. It wasn't just sabotage. It wasn't just protection. It was an operation. Organized, funded, orchestrated, and Erika wasn't a victim caught in the crossfire. She was participating, but the final twist didn't come from the audio or the messages or even the financial records. It came from the last image in the email, still photo taken inside Charlie and Erika's home office. The photo showed Charlie sitting at his desk, tense, holding his phone in one hand. On the laptop beside him was an email draft titled, "If anything happens to me." Candace felt her chest tighten reading those words. But the message inside the draft was what tore the ground apart. "Erika has been meeting with him behind my back. I know about the deal. I know what they're planning. Something goes wrong, look at them first. Them, not him. Not her. Them meaning Erika and the powerful donor." Candace felt physically sick. This wasn't a simple conflict. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't an innocent widow overwhelmed by grief. This was something far more sinister, a negotiation, a cover-up, and possibly a motive. Because Erika didn't sabotage the investigation to protect an advisor she cared about. She sabotaged it to protect the deal she had made with someone far bigger. And according to the email's final line, "There's a second draft he never got to finish." Candace's heart dropped. A second draft somewhere out there, untouched, unreleased, potentially containing the full truth of what Charlie uncovered in the final weeks of his life. But before Candace could message the whistleblower again, their email went offline. And the donor, he suddenly released a polished statement claiming no knowledge of any leaks, meetings, or conflicts surrounding Charlie. But the timing was too clean, too rehearsed, too perfect. Something was happening behind the scenes. Something fast, something coordinated. Candace posted one final message before going silent. "The second draft changes everything." Instantly, millions demanded answers. Where was it? Who had it? What did it say? What did Charlie know? And why was Erika so desperate to bury it? But Candace refused to speak. Not on live, not on podcasts, not on Twitter for the first time in her career. She went completely dark. And everyone knew what that meant. Something bigger than Erika, bigger than the advisor, bigger than Tpuza was unfolding. And the full truth hasn't even surfaced yet. And now, after everything you've just witnessed, the leaked messages, the hidden meetings, the secret recordings, the donor involvement, the missing hour, the vanished advisor, the buried drafts, and Erika's chilling negotiation, one thing is clear. This story is nowhere near finished. Every new revelation creates 10 new questions. Every leak exposes a deeper layer of the cover-up. Every insider message points to a bigger threat looming behind the scenes. And whatever was inside Charlie's second draft is powerful enough that people are trying to erase it before the public ever sees it. So, here's what I need you to do right now. If you want the full truth, if you want the next chapter of this investigation, if you want us to keep exposing every hidden detail, every suspicious timeline, every connection they hoped you'd overlook, hit that LK button so more people see this story. Subscribe right now so you don't miss the next explosive update. Turn on all notifications because new information is coming fast. Now, powerful people are doing everything they can to silence it. Drop a comment below and tell me your theory. Do you think Erika was protecting the advisor or the billionaire donor? Was this sabotage driven by fear or motive? What do you believe Charlie discovered in that second draft? And who do you think is trying to bury the truth? Now, your comments are more powerful than you think. Every theory exposes something new. Every question pressures the people trying to hide this story. Every voice makes it harder for them to bury the truth. This is not the end. This is not even close to the end. In fact, the most shocking revelations haven't even dropped yet because we're still uncovering the missing draft. We're still tracking the advisor's disappearance. We're still receiving encrypted tips from insiders who are terrified to speak publicly. And we're still digging into the donor's hidden involvement. The part Erika never wanted anyone to see. So, make sure you're here for the next episode because what's coming next? Will shake everything. It's coming next. Music.